the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, this evening's agenda, Karen Miller's regarding the DES outreach presentation. The board's going to schedule an inspection of Fairbanks Road and a public hearing for that. We'll be reviewing budgets, and at 7:15 we have Chief Lund coming in to discuss building 2 alarm system. Before we start, there's a few things I'd like to address. The first is a correspondence we've received from Eversource Energy regarding items that residents should be aware of regarding scams. They have items posted on their websites, but it goes on to identify scams that are being run for residents, particularly small business owners who are frequent targets of scams. Again, I'd like to just refer everyone to Eversource Energy's website for this information. The second item is we've gotten, I think, one feedback regarding the striping of the roads that's occurred. And the striping of the roads has occurred mainly because of safety. The board had previously discussed doing one yellow line down the middle, which is not allowed by the New Hampshire DOT standards and per the RSA. Our next option was going to be to do 2 white lines, one on each side as fog lines. With that layout, it's considered a 1-lane, 1-direction road. So for that reason, they have the double yellow lines. And I think we had received numerous concerns from residents about being able to see the roads at night when you're black, and many of our roads are unlit. That's the way we've gone, and hope all the residents will get used to them.
The feedback I received from it is positive, and for those that are concerned that it's a visual impairment or whatever it might be, visual pollution, over time they will fade out and wear down, so they're not going to be as bright as they are forever. So, but as David had stated, the safety issue I think is paramount above anything else. So.
Yeah, and I think if they get to the point that they're faded that you can't see them, we'll
hit them again.
So,
but I mean, initially it is a shock because it's something new and folks haven't seen it. But give it a couple of weeks and it'll be like the new street sign that you haven't seen.
Yeah. One other thing, just to hold Karen off a moment, is I'd like to address the street address for what is now considered 49 Valley Road. We've received the documentation from the Land Use Department, and when street addresses were issued, for some reason this lot was originally a 49 Valley Road, and due to the development out there with all the other properties, it's going to need to be changed to 23. The owner had been notified but was reluctant to change it. So per the RSA, the Board of Selectmen needs to hold a public hearing for that. I think in order to make consistency, we should schedule a hearing.
I think we need to. It's unfortunate for the homeowner, I know it is, because it's a pain to notify everybody you've changed your address. I can understand that, but again, back to the safety aspect of things, that's why we need to do it, so.
Yeah.
We don't do it to inconvenience people.
And this was driven by E911 that required it to get changed.
Correct, yeah.
So Joanne, if we give, 2 weeks' notice, could we schedule a public hearing for the 12th?
Does it say in the RSA so many days or anything? I don't remember.
Prior to the actual assignation or alteration of numbers on the meeting, the governing body or planning board shall hold a public hearing for which 10 days' notice has been given by posting in 2 public places.
Could we do it, I think on the 5th, you wanna finish up your budgets, so do you wanna wait?
Correct, yeah, that
So
was
you wanna
the original
down a
thought.
little bit? Oh, this is,
That's why I was saying the 12th.
oh, the 12th.
Enough time for paper and.
Let's see. Could we do it the 19th?
Whatever.
Okay.
Thank you for your patience, Karen.
No problem. It's dark, the horses are fed.
I'm glad you have your priorities straight.
Always.
Okay, what do we got?
So Pierce Rigrod was from DES, and he was our contact when we were doing the groundwater ordinance. He reached out to me in the end of October to see if we would be interested in doing a community outreach that would be, town reaching our residents to help educate them about well water safety, having private wells, so people kind of have a better idea about how to keep a healthy well and keep healthy water. They have a whole program that they do regularly, and he had sent me a PDF for the whole program, and there was, it has interesting points that it shows about different kinds of contaminations, talks about testing, talks about what kinds of things somebody might be looking for, around how to keep your well safe. And I had brought this to the Conservation Commission the last time we had a meeting, and Bob wanted me to bring this to you guys to see if it was something that we would, that we could go forward and actually do. Usually what DES does, they have a whole, they have a whole checklist of things to be able to do to sort of set the program up. But the idea is to sort of, again, it's outreach to try to get a hold of everybody and just let them have a better understanding of what the responsibilities are for your private wells. Because so many people think you just go to the nozzle and turn your water on and there it is, but they don't understand where it's really coming from. So I told him that I would get a hold of the Conservation Commission and come to you and see if people would be interested in doing something like that.
What's the vehicle for this? Is this a public invitation to attend a meeting? Is there publications that are dispersed?
Yep, they do it in a number of different ways, and again, depending on what the community is. So that, again, a lot of communities would use us, for example, somebody, and this isn't something that I do, but they may use the town website. Somebody may use Town of New Ipswich. They have a whole, I was gonna say, I have like their community toolkit. They have flyers that can be done as mailers. There's a couple of different towns, I just had one that, through the newspaper when they're talking about a community event, so to have somebody publicize it through that. So there's plenty of different ways to get that tackled. They would suggest doing something like this in, like early spring, obviously get through the holidays and do that, but when people are, not looking for things to fill their time, but may have more time to actually participate in something like this, and then give us a little bit of time to let people know what it was that we were doing and why it would be beneficial to attend. I had asked, which I think is terrible, I should know, it was gonna go up on the town website under the Conservation Commission, which is from DES about well water. I meant to print one out for everybody, but I didn't have time to do that. And that was something that actually, Deb I'm gonna butcher her last name because I always do, Louiselle, I believe it was, who came and did a presentation here. The MTBE contamination. That was here. Joanne, do you remember when that
When?
was? A few months
Yeah,
back.
a few months back.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Um,
got a notice from DES.
yeah, and this was a piece, this was something that, you know, she said this is a great piece that they do suggest that people have up in their, on their town websites or, you know, available at town offices. I would like to get this out in print, because I know not everybody in our community does use a computer for, you know, for communications. So that was something I wanted to see if we had space in town office to do. And again, just to see if this is something that people are interested from. With, a lot of times what happens is they'll have, the Conservation Commission sort of, host it with the support of the select board. There's other ways of doing it in town through a citizens group or something like that, but I think it's nice if you have the town support with a program like this.
I guess my only question is, what's the financial impact to the town?
I think, I mean, and if it's something, I would get more details. I wanted to find out first if it was something that people were interested in. I've had a pretty good communication with Pierce because of all the time we spent back and forth with the groundwater ordinance, so I can get that information. I think the biggest thing is probably where we might be able to hold something like that. Like, would it be something we could do at the high school? Would it be something we could do at one of the auditoriums? Was it something that we would do at town office? They recommend, in, you know, again, some of the more rural towns, that you do a pre-registration, so you have an idea of how many people might attend. And they have done in the past, if the community, you know, if residents are interested, they will do a well water testing, which is a very, very basic baseline testing that they do free of charge. But people just have to prepare to do the sampling themselves and get it back to a pickup site to be able to have it get to the labs that they use. So I think, again, I can get the details for that, but I think the biggest thing would be is if we needed to get a venue to do it in.
How involved do you hope to get the Board of Selectmen? Not that we don't have enough irons in the fire, or are you just looking for?
I mostly just want like verbal support
Okay.
that says, yeah, I mean, I feel like, I'm prepared to do more to get this, to make this fall roll. I mean, in fact, it's something that I was kind of interested in doing earlier. I had brought it up at the Conservation Commission about us doing some outreach work in the community. But then, before I got approval to do that, they actually reached back out to us, so. And I think they feel like it's important too, because then if people are aware of what's happening, you know, with their own wells, it also can lead to the bigger picture of some other things that could potentially be going on in the area, so. And of course, for us in New Hampshire, one of the big things is arsenic in water. And a lot of people aren't aware of the contaminants they can have in their own private wells, so. I think it would be a good community, again, a good outreach, and it would be a good health sort of risk, taking it out.
I'd have no opposition to it, no. It's an educational tool for the residents of the town, absolutely.
And as long as the Conservation Commission is the one that's gonna run with this,
Right,
and
yeah.
have a
but-
financial impact on the town side.
Yeah, I really don't think that the financial impact is something that is too big, and I can bring this back, we have a Conservation Commission, not next week, I think the week before, the week after, I'm sorry, but I can bring that back there, and, you know, then I can get a little bit more information too from DES about some of those things, but I think from the conversations that I've had with them about this and some of the other towns that done it, it's not a big financial risk.
Very good.
I'm good with that.
Good, fabulous, all right. And then I can maybe talk to you
Thank
guys at
you.
a different point, if we need
Sure.
like venues, like again, about how one would approach doing something at the high school or something like that, and maybe get some ideas of dates from them too. So I might be knocking on
Would it be-
your
Oh,
door,
I think
knocking on your
the
agenda.
pre-registration idea is a very good idea.
Yeah. They said in the rural towns, it's the best thing to
Right.
do to get a good idea of what you're looking
You might be able to do it here if you only have 25.
at. Right. Okay, fabulous.
Very
Thank you for
good.
your time.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome, thanks for the effort.
Have a great evening.
Me too.
Thanks.
Good night.
Yeah,
Night.
good evening.
Would you like to schedule Fairbanks
Sure.
Road?
Mhm.
How's December 9th?
Fine. 8 AM,
Sure.
okay.
Send us a reminder. Okay, budgets. Public Works budget, let me just. Okay, my notes on the DPW was we were going to check at mid-December to consider paying off the lease on the equipment with any funds not expended to date out of the budget.
I believe that was a conversation, and then we're also, is there pavement money left or a warrant article money left?
Well, the
I thought that was-
highway block grant
Right,
is where
okay.
it's left, and that we said would automatically be encumbered
Mhm.
to use for next year, but
Oh, toward paving, you don't wanna use it toward the lease payoff.
yes, I would if it wasn't much. You know, so let's just say we had,
Yeah, I guess what is the dollar amount of the block grant left over, is it? And this is the initial block grant, correct?
yes, yeah. I don't know what that balance is, I don't
Okay.
have a sheet, but I'm looking at on the DPW lease. For next year was 66,707. And I don't know if that was the final year or not, but for some reason I thought it was.
I believe it is.
That's
Yeah.
for the two leases.
Two leases.
Yeah, and I think one is final, and the
Oh,
other
and the other
one is
one's
not.
not.
Yeah.
So that would probably be the final on the,
Well, a portion of that would be for the final, and the other portion would be for the one that's not.
correct, I was just trying to get which piece of equipment in my head, and it must be, it's probably gotta be the 15, I would think. Was the 15 a lease? Another 13 was a purchase.
The
I guess-
15 is a lease,
Okay, so it's,
and that would be the one that's not final. Cause I
So
think
what's the-
that lease ends in 20? I think it was a 5-year lease,
so we leased the 14 as well? Oh, okay.
yeah.
So 13's a purchase, 16's a purchase, and the 14 and 15 are leases? That sound right?
16 would be the, what
Last
year?
year's, 2 years, 2 years,
2 years.
No, we're in 17 now.
Correct.
So 16 would be the 5-year lease.
okay, so maybe we are talking the 15 and the 16, then. Pay off the 15 and have,
And a portion of
of
the
the-
16.
I'm trying to think,
I can go get that.
well, I know we approved, I thought we approved to buy the 16 in a warrant article. Cause we bought it
No.
15, yeah, and I thought there was discussion.
I know when I first came on the board,
Mhm.
that's when they had already gone to a lease, and I think at the time was, we were signing papers with, the bank.
Okay.
Do you want me to go get the breakdown?
Do I have it?
I thought you gave it back.
Okay, yes, please. I'm trying to think what else we changed on that budget, because the,
I've got my copy here that I threw away. I changed.
pull mine out.
I'm teasing you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought I would.
On that budget, David, we changed the overtime line.
But I'm looking here, Jay, how come his salary went up? Oh, this includes, I'm gonna presume the,
I believe so. I've
The merit.
got his backup here. You want me to look at, see what,
if we just took, he was at 247, 145. And if I multiply that times 2%, is the 252,087, but he's at 253.
yeah, he doesn't have any backup on his salary line, mentioning the two new hires at the transfer station.
But that would be under the transfer station.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just looking, last time it was 247, 145. If we added 2%, should have been 252, 087.
I think it's 14 and 16.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah.
What do we have left to pay? You say we have a 15?
13, 14, 15, and 16, yeah. Yeah.
So how'd they buy the 15?
That was a warrant article, I believe.
Ring a bell?
Because you have a lease on a 14 and a 16?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, at least that's when the,
First years.
yeah. So on the 14, if we've already made that payment, 15, we would have paid 16, we would have paid 17. So we have 1 year left, so that's 33,
So that's about half, well, we got 66, so that's half.
yeah. And then on 16, our payment next year would be the 33,050.
Well, we could pay both off if you wanted to.
But we wouldn't pay it off, because on the 16, we have 3 more payments to make,
Of this year.
18, 19, and 20.
Oh, yearly, I'm sorry.
Yearly, yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So if we
So we'd pay it
had-
down,
Could pay it
we'd be a
down,
year ahead of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
make it a 4 year instead of a 5.
Right, I have no issue with doing that. The salary line you were questioning, and it's a good question, that difference isn't 2.5%? Or is it?
That's why. I was thinking it was 2. I plugged in 2.
Oh, okay,
If I put in the 5, that's right.
okay.
Yeah. So say 48, 14. $139,606. We'll still be under our 2017 budget.
Yeah, by 22 and some change.
Let me just plug this one in. I'm missing something here. Oh, it was the FICA. No, I do see. Yeah, we changed the rate on the overtime, correct, last time?
We did, yep.
Okay.
It was, he was using the highest hourly,
Yeah.
we asked him to take an average of the 5.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
$69,606. So that budget is complete and includes. Police?
So are we,
But we approved it at 639,606, right?
that's,
Yeah.
you want a motion, you need a motion, you just,
Unless you disagree with it.
no, I do not disagree with
Okay.
that. I don't know.
Uh,
Gonna go to police, is that what it is?
That's the next one I've got in the file here.
Okay.
Okay, this one here, Joanne, has me stumped also. We were at 383,019. With 2.5%. I'm at 392,594.50.
And with the 383, I think he had already figured in,
Correct, 2%.
2%.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Remember he said to take.
Cause he
it
said to me, he said, where did
that's
you guys
right,
come up
you're
with
right,
0.5%?
you're right, yes, yes.
Yeah.
So,
They told him that was out of the deal, negotiated.
this budget. That's about 3.75%. 2.5, which is the merit. Well, no, I wouldn't say that, it's not 2.5 from that. Guess looking at this, the biggest increase was due to the overtime to cover vacation time.
Correct. Not only that, but actual time spent. I mean, some of the guys were giving time here and there and not putting in for it.
Okay, so I've got 705, 742, good?
705, 742, what I have. But weren't you still questioning the salary line, David? Did you?
But you answered it, it was because
Okay,
he
then.
had the 2% in there originally, so if you
Just
I
had the
added
half?
the other half
Okay.
percent, yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
you're comfortable with it?
Yeah. This here, I think, is the new budget for the regional associations.
So these are actuals, you think I gave you the backup the last item, the New Hampshire Public Works Mutual Aid figure of $25, I asked Peter why it never gets spent, and he said he actually takes it out of his budget,
Good.
so I took it out of this budget.
Thank you.
Okay, so. The Southwest planning went up slightly, and New Hampshire municipal roughly $200. $25. Julian, what's gonna happen if we end up doing something with our cartographics? Would we still be
I think you'd still want to be a
Southwest
member.
planning? Yeah,
Yeah,
with the, okay, that's right, this doesn't include the tax maps, the tax maps are
the
the,
assessors
okay,
have that
okay,
in their budget.
okay. I'm good with that, Jay, you?
Yeah, I guess our hands are kinda tied unless we step up, right? It's not one of those,
Yeah,
it's a non-negotiable cost.
And then the last one is the insurances. You had already approved it.
before we go to that, we have a tab for regional,
Um,
is that what you'd call it, regional?
yeah,
Okay.
you not have one?
I don't worry about it,
Okay.
that's okay.
Yeah, I didn't have one either, I wasn't sure where to put
Okay.
it.
I'll
I'll
make
figure that later. This is the insurance.
And you'd already approved it, but then, Primex had contacted me because we paid, when we started with them last year, we started in July.
Mhm.
So we pay from July to July, and they wanted to know if we wanted to change it to a calendar year, like all our other insurances.
Mhm.
So I said yes. So, we've already, if you read number 2 there,
I see
the
that.
choices, we'll only have to pay the $24.9087 in 2018.
Then come 2019, we'll get a bill for the
You're gonna get that,
46.
yeah.
Okay,
That's the only thing.
so it's gonna look,
I know,
yeah,
yeah,
in 19,
you just have to keep that in mind.
yeah, there'll be sticker shock, and I'll be like, oh, but, yeah.
If you don't wanna do that, I just think it makes it cleaner and.
If it's easier on your side of
Yeah,
checks and balances
Yeah.
and all that stuff, yeah, I'm fine with it.
And certainly having a lower budget is always a good thing.
Well, yeah, we gotta remember,
yeah,
like Joanne
Next
says, we
year.
gotta be aware when it's
yeah,
up 25,000.
yeah.
And again, it's one of those costs you can't get away from.
Right.
Can't be all. Let's see.
Mm.
You can just, I would just like to go through everything I have on here, and make sure we're covered. Assessor, Planning Board, ZBA, Building Permit Officer, Heritage Commission, Board of Selectmen, Auditor, Legal. I'm still showing general government buildings. Did we finalize that?
No, the assessors is not finalized either.
It's not.
No, because remember they were trying to decide what they were gonna do with the maps, so they're coming
Correct.
in next week. to tell you about that.
Okay, then I'm gonna take this off.
In general government buildings, there's a request for a salary increase in there.
And I believe the same with the treasurer and the town clerk
And town.
and town office.
Where is why would general government buildings have a increase?
Carlene has requested an increase.
That's another custodian.
Yeah.
Address these next week when John's here.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping to do, yep. And we're gonna address, I think that's all we had on our agenda for next week, correct?
We got a couple.
No,
of
she's
items.
been filling it up.
Well, the assessors I wanna get those in that, so the assessors are gonna come in and tell you that figure.
Okay. You haven't given them long though, right?
It shouldn't be because we've already discussed it.
Right, that's,
Yeah,
okay.
Cemetery, we're all set on.
there's one small one, that I have to work on.
Well, let me go through my
Okay.
list here, cause I'm
Alright.
going down these like a
Okay,
mini sheet. Conservation Commission I don't have highlighted as done.
it's done.
It's done, yeah, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, 958. DPW, we've done. Transfer station, landfill cap, Board of Health, moderator, elections. One we don't have, and I think it's because of salaries, is gonna be pool and Y Parks and Rec.
They're done.
I do it down, I don't.
Yep.
I know,
I think I'm
we
pretty
look-
Ten
yeah,
five nine three.
I know 10,593, yeah, I believe.
Yep, okay.
There were no,
I just didn't have it highlighted.
it's actually down from 17, so.
Okay. Police we just did. Fire I have open,
right.
that's because of
Salaries,
stipends.
yeah.
And then, so next week we're looking at stipends also. You've got the,
The list,
will we have that ahead of time?
yes.
I believe it was in one of the files tonight, is that
Okay.
Oh, is it?
correct? Was that the one, that's what I was looking at, right?
Oh, that's the
Stip-
the fire
Yeah,
payroll.
oh, okay, it wasn't just that, okay.
No.
No.
One I don't have a tab on. And you guys can tell me whether we did it or not, communications?
That's the one that I'm trying to finish up.
Okay.
I can't get someone to answer. I'm gonna have to guess.
Somebody from the outside?
Yeah.
Town clerk, tax collector is still open. One thing we haven't discussed, but I presume we're not going to, budget for, tax anticipation notes. we didn't last year, and I don't think there's any need this year.
Yeah, I don't know
This
why,
year.
I don't know why you would. Is that,
Well, they had a couple of years ago, I didn't understand why, but, trustees are done, treasurers,
No.
no, treasurer's not done.
those ones that we were gonna discuss salaries on, Joanne, were you gonna go into the NHMA?
I will.
Thank you.
Welfare is done. The other thing, if you could put on the agenda is, we need to look at two things. One, did you forward to John the CIP plan?
I have a hard copy here for him that he'll pick up today, tomorrow.
Okay.
And
I have mine, and I've had them right along since,
I'm just thinking if we need to look at that and tie that hand in hand with what, we do with capital reserve funds requests for next year.
yeah, I guess it'd be nice to know the balances of those accounts,
Which one?
all of them. I'd just like to know what's in there, as far as, what do you get, the cruiser, highway,
What they, I can
police?
tell you what they are.
Yeah, dollar,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I'm trying to think when it's through 9/30/16, the values,
Okay,
okay? The fire department capital reserve was 355,159. The police department expendable capital reserve is 56,951. Now I'm rounding these. Pool maintenance was 18,050. The revaluation capital reserve 99,435. The landfill cap reserve 30,906. The highway capital reserve is 107,413. The 250th anniversary, 6,371. Expendable landfill is 43,810.
which one was that one, David?
Landfill. Give me a minute to think on that. Why would we have an expendable one for the
Well,
landfill?
That's what I'm looking, we got two of them, you get $72,000 in capital for the landfill.
Well, the landfill
Cap, you got
capital reserve is 30,905.
30,000.
Expendable landfill. Could you look those two up and,
Mhm.
I don't know why they would have been expendable,
I don't know.
unless it was when they,
They did, we'd have a, payment, just the bond payment, right?
right, and that's why I'm trying to think of why we would have these two up, why they were developed.
Right,
And especially being expendable, unless it was, that was in 1999. Is that when we closed it?
sounds about
Is that
right.
about right?
Yeah.
And the first one was in 1994. Unless one was planning and the next one was when they actually did
Yeah,
it.
I don't know, it's a good question.
Yeah, because between those two, you're talking 78,000 or so.
And what do we got left to pay on the bond at the,
Uh,
I can't see any other costs up there, right, for the landfill, other than paying down the bond. to have to be landfill budget.
Would that be that one? I don't have that, no,
Can't find,
there you go.
transfer station. Would it be in the transfer station budget?
Shouldn't be, that's where the,
Do I have a,
operational cost.
David, where did you get those figures that you were looking at?
You,
Some of them are the same, but not all of them.
just give me 1 second to
Yeah.
finish running through transfer station revenues, capital reserve, balances. I think this was, I may have gotten it out of the, annual
Town
report.
report,
Yeah, why, would that not have been accurate?
Well, I think this is
Without
the end of
interest.
the year, probably.
What's that?
I think this is the end of 2000, what does it say?
It's probably, well, it says 2016, but my note says this is, from January 1st, 16 through September 30th, 16. And just taking the fire department capital reserve, I had 355, and this one's at 353. So maybe this was the starting balance?
I thought you said 351.
No, 355, 159.
Oh, okay.
Police department, this is 56, 734, I'm 56, 951.
So yours is more,
Yeah,
yeah, right.
Fire protection equipment is 27,863. Parks and Rec is 43,932. Land conservation is 57,534. And building maintenance is 169,871. So I'm thinking if we can look at that CIP along with these capital reserve funds to determine how much we need to put in.
I think that's a good conversation to have,
Yeah.
absolutely, yep.
Yeah.
Cause it's some of those numbers that you almost wonder why we would need to put any money into them,
Yeah,
so.
and I don't think that we put money into, well, I know we don't put money into all of these every year, but it would be good to have a rationale of why we're putting it in.
Correct, yeah, that's why I asked earlier, what are the balances, just so we get an idea of where we're at.
So then that will wrap up our budget.
Mhm.
Can I get these numbers printed out from you, all the cap numbers?
The ones that he just read?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, please.
What's the expendable landfill? You have 40?
Expendable.
I had 42 I wrote down.
43,810.
Okay, I had 43.8.
Close.
I can. I email that to you, you can print it out then, right? Cause I don't think, is your printer Bluetooth?
I liked it.
We'll try that. I'll try
All right,
doing that.
yeah, you should be able to print.
Definite maybe.
Dave, did you see this letter from the budget committee?
I believe I did. Yes, I did. Read that on the way in.
I think my advice without looking further here is going to be to send that to either New Hampshire Municipal or to Bart and find out what we are
Oh,
required to provide.
I'm fine with
Because
that.
providing them with time cards, I don't know
The relevance.
the relevance of that. And why are they asking for one department,
Correct.
you know?
Mhm.
And if they're looking for items that are posted on the website, then I would refer them to the website if it's publicly available there. But see what, council says.
He made a comment in the office, and I didn't hear it, but that they changed the budget number. The budget committee did? No? Or maybe I missed. I was listening, I was talking with you when I heard him
Oh.
talking. I was talking with David and you were
Yeah.
talking with,
he wants the final, town office that you approved.
okay.
And then he was talking about, remember we talked about, the right to know and having individual email addresses, and
Mhm.
then I think it was John suggested doing it in groups.
Right, yeah.
And so he wants to know how many I think we need
Mhm.
or want.
I
He
thought we're
wants
at
to
like
know-
33, does that
Yeah.
sound right? Yeah.
But he wants a definite number, so I'll just have to, I'll figure that out.
Mhm.
David, the one thing that you haven't done is schedule the employee meeting that's required each year.
That was on the 21st, or you didn't wanna do it the same day, cause didn't wanna,
Well, we've done that before and it's not been too good, so we stopped doing it that way, but if you want to, that's up to you. Do it all. The luncheon's at 12. Then you send the other people out home. And then you,
yeah,
I
I'm
said
not
we
even
let
sure.
Joanne hold this.
Yeah, I'm not even sure I'm gonna be available on the 21st, to be honest. I don't even know if I'll
Yeah.
be here, so.
no,
What's the 21st?
it's hard,
Thursday.
you all work, you know.
Right, that's the problem.
Yeah.
If they wanna come in on a Saturday, I mean, I'd be happy to feed them lunch and hang out. What do you think, Peter?
I think right now Thursday does work for me, it's one day out of the week.
Well, if that
that's-
works for you, go for it.
I mean, to do something on a weekend, I think you'd probably get less of a turnout.
Oh, no, I was being, I didn't think you'd get anybody, to be honest. It'd be us,
So
cold
do you want-
lasagna.
Do you wanna just do it the same day, 21st?
No.
Oh,
No. Of course, we did it beforehand,
Well, that's what I was gonna say, if you're gonna do it,
yeah,
And
15
I
minutes.
guess the question is this, it's not gonna be a downer kind of meeting, right?
it shouldn't be.
Because,
I, you don't know.
yeah, but haven't insurance has gone down? So, I mean, that's a
Well, they haven't
positive.
gone up, that's.
Well, yeah, but that's a positive.
Yeah.
I mean, and
Yeah.
they're still getting all the other benefits they've ever gotten, so it's not like anything's being taken away from them. So
Yeah,
if you had it earlier on the 21st, have it at 11 or,
yeah, we do have.
you know, cause it's,
11:45.
well, yeah, 11, you could realistically, if it's just an update of what the costs are and there's no heavy,
This gets kinda busy, cause we have to set it all up.
oh, I see, you talk,
Where,
yeah, sure, right, your office,
Not in our office, but the
that circular
we're
table,
outside.
yeah, right.
area outside.
How many employees
Okay.
are there, you know, and it's gonna take you
yeah,
15 minutes maybe?
If I remember last time, none of the police officers
no,
came.
didn't usually.
We had a few from highway,
Yeah,
You should have them
you'll
all.
have a few from here.
yeah.
Why do the police not show up? Because it's an off day, they're not working?
I think because they're very happy with,
That must be it, right? People usually only show up if they have
If
something to
there's-
complain
yeah,
about, so,
yeah.
I
or
guess.
they have a question, you
Right.
know, but,
I think it's hard though that time, because Debbie and Lori and I will be busy I have to go get the food, David.
you have any
Yeah.
complaints? You wanna register? You let me know.
Is there a box out there that says suggestions?
So just so you know, we might not,
If you wanna do it different days.
well, no, I mean, it would be nice to do it all together, I'm just trying to figure out. If we did it at the end,
Then it's getting everybody else gone.
Well, yeah, see, then you,
That's,
and you're gonna have,
Stragglers.
I know I trickled out when I was working for the town before most people did.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I think you'd have a hard time holding the employees to get their attention.
yeah. All right,
Let us know what you decide.
okay.
Have anything else?
I don't, no. Take a 5-minute recess until Meredith comes in, she's doing 7:15, right?
Glad you reminded me.
You ready to go home?
I was ready to say, you gonna make a motion?
Well, I'm hoping we're not here too long discussing fire alarms. They haven't woke me up lately, but
Well, you didn't get the call then.
no,
Who set off the panic yesterday morning?
my brother mine.
Or-
We were in there talking and he just kicked back and I think his knee hit the button and
Kicked back. He's supposed to be working and
he
he's
was
kicking
on
back.
that. I had his attention, we were discussing town stuff. And next thing, the chief and Dave come through the door and he like, who hit the panic button? It had to have been him, 'cause it wasn't me.
And then the fire alarm had been,
Crazy, I was here the other night and that thing had chirped and chirped and chirped the other day. Jessica said you came in after I left and you talked
that's
to
probably.
Thursday.
It
Was
was
it-
Monadnock.
Building two?
Yeah, same thing, and
Yeah,
that's what I don't understand is Monadnock was supposed to have come in the Monday prior
but
to correct that.
fixed it.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
So-
here it is 4 days later.
I wanna make sure that we're not gonna get two bills.
It's $129 every time.
Yeah, well,
And,
they're not gonna get paid if they
Well, no,
don't
if it's a
fix it.
faulty system, we
Yeah.
can't pay for it, it
Yeah.
wouldn't be right. It's,
there she is. I noticed, we had trouble with the front door, or the employee door, so they came and they replaced some part, but then it still wasn't working, so they had to come back and do another part. And get charged every time.
Well, we've gotta have a conversation with them to get it right the first time. Good evening.
Good evening,
good evening,
good evening.
thank you for being prompt, we were taking a 5-minute recess, but,
I was ready to adjourn.
yeah, he's ready to go
It's
home.
a good thing he reminded me that you were coming.
Would've passed in a parking lot, David would've gone, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we were supposed to talk
That's right,
about
we're supposed to talk to Matt.
building two. The alarms that keep going off, building two. So in talking with Mark Hopkins, he said that in talking with Monadnock Security, we can swap those out to be heats instead of, because some of them are still smoke detectors right now, which would probably cut down a little bit on the alarm activations.
Why a little bit?
Well, probably should cut down on them a great portion,
I was gonna
because
say-
I think there would be less issue with those being activated by
Dust.
dust, moisture, anything like that.
The alarm shouldn't be activated unless there's an emergency. So I don't
Yeah.
want less activation, I don't want any of it. It's
Well, and that, of
required.
course, that brings up the next part that, so in talking with him, he said we can swap those out. He said, let me talk with the selectmen first, because I have concerns with that building as well, with us being in it. So, when we originally didn't go in it anymore, however many years ago that was, there was a sign on it that said nobody was allowed to go in there. Now that sign has disappeared, and now we're renting that space to Warwick Mills, which raises a couple of issues for me. One, we've got people that are going in there for alarm activations into a building that originally the selectmen from those years said we shouldn't be in. And then we don't know what's in there. We know they're storing some fabric, but what else are they storing? There's egresses in there that are blocked so that people that go in there can't necessarily get out. The mold, the interior walls are certainly not rated for commercial storage because those were originally office walls. So I'm sure the fire rating for those does not meet the fire load for that building. So I guess I kind of wanted to know, I mean, my inclination, and I know we've kind of said we're not going in there to fight a fire, but technically if we get toned because of a smoke detector or a heat detector going off, we have some responsibility to go unless we make a statement that says we're not going to go in.
Why wouldn't you just go in the same way you'd go in with a fire, using the oxygen masks?
But if that's a significant increase in fire load that doesn't, then we're going into a building we shouldn't be in.
But as far as the ratings, it's,
But we don't even know what's in that building.
well, that's the first thing.
And that's my
I
concern,
thought
is
they
I
knew-
don't know what's in
I
it.
thought as a fire chief, they have to give you a list of what is stored there, quantity, et cetera, to make
Which is
sure
kind of
that-
why I'm coming to you guys, because technically the town is the property owner. So it would be your responsibility to let him know he needs to provide it. I wouldn't be, I mean, I can go in there, but,
But the requirement for providing it, I thought, is under NFPA.
it is, but you're the property owner. So under
we're not.
NFPA, I'm asking you, what's in the building?
Correct, but we're not the tenant. Like if I were, drawing a blank, one of the developers, Tamposi, let's say, and I'm renting out my building, I'm not gonna give you a list of what my tenants have. I'm gonna tell you, your requirement is to go to the tenant, the person who's actually has the,
So his response, and of course, this all started when I was the acting chief, and then when the chief came back, this kind of got dropped. So that was my concern when we were getting ready to sign the lease, was we asked him for what he was going to store in there, and his was, it's just going to be fabric. It may or may not be. We have no clue. I mean, we know there's fabric in there because there's spools of it, but what else is in there?
but if they are
And-
giving you a document from their firm that says what it is they're providing, I would think that that would suffice. Whereas, are you under any obligation to go in there and do an inventory of what's there?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't think so.
I wouldn't think you would be.
I wouldn't think so.
But then my question would be, of course, his response is, I don't care if it burns, let it burn. But I have a feeling that
But your
other
concern
people
is
may-
your
My
firefighters.
concern is my firefighters.
Right.
I don't really, I mean, I care about people's property, but my concern is putting the firefighters in there in a increased fire load or something that they shouldn't be in, that they're not gonna get out safely.
Well, I thought we-
Especially with blocked egresses and stuff where he's got stuff against some of the doorways and stuff like that.
Well, can we ask him to release us of any liability, seeing as how they have blocked egresses, and we don't want our firefighters going in there?
That would be the best thing that I could think we could do, but
I wouldn't agree with that.
I-
I would say you as the fire chief need to tell him, you need to clear your egresses, period. There is no waiver of.
Okay, no, I
You know.
wanna discuss it anyway, I mean, it's a
I'm
conversation.
thinking of those, nightclubs and whatnot.
Right,
where
I know, I got,
Yeah.
They have
yeah,
blocked things, you
Yep.
know?
right.
I don't want something like that here.
Well, if
And
nobody
to
goes
say
in the
that-
Well,
building-
and we don't know what the, I mean, we can figure it out, I suppose, the fire load for that specific building, but that building was not designed to be commercial store, well, originally it was,
Sure
but,
was, yeah.
it originally
Yeah,
was, but
yeah.
now with the interior walls and stuff, I'm not sure what the,
Probably carry
But it's
more
an
of a load.
unoccupied building, so
Yeah.
you treat the whole building as a storage warehouse.
Right.
You don't have separation
yeah, but
of
there's
use
no, there's no fire stops in there, there's nothing that's gonna deal with anything that's, I mean, that building's just gonna go.
groups. Right. Sooner the
And I
better,
don't really
but-
wanna be there.
Well,
I don't wanna be inside it when it
no,
happens.
understandable, I don't want anyone in there.
I would rather come up with some kind of, you know, we're gonna protect the exposures and stuff. So if I go to him and ask him, I mean, cause he and I had this conversation on the phone when we started this whole process. And his thing was, it's just fabric, and I wanted proof of what was in there. And then, like I said, it got out of my hands because I wasn't the fire chief at that point. So now I'm coming back again, and this just raised it to the forefront again, is all of these alarm activations. Our ordinance says has to be a key holder present. There's no key holders showing up when we're there for an alarm activation. And it says if the key holder doesn't show up within 30 minutes or something, then we post a fire watch and we bill for that. I know it's town property, but it's being rented by somebody else. I mean, do we have the right, can we do that to all of these, for all these alarm activations as well?
When you say the key holder, the town's the key holder. Right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming we have keys to that building.
A
Yeah.
key holder is supposed to come and reset the alarms under our alarm ordinance.
Well, you represent the
I
town.
knew
so-
you were gonna say that.
Right,
Problem solved.
I knew you were gonna say
Well,
that.
you've been appointed by a board of selectmen, and you receive a stipend,
do
so
you
you're an
think-
employee of the
yeah.
town of Ipswich, and we'll just, do you not have a key to that
I
building?
knew you were gonna say
And the
that.
expertise to know how to reset that.
Oh, I knew
Right.
you were
Do
gonna
you
say
not have a
that.
key?
I do not have a key.
Well, we'll get you
It's in the
one.
Knox box.
We'll get you. Good, so that one's solved.
Yeah, that's solved.
So the other bad part of it
Oh,
is
wait a
you
minute,
can't
let's
you
do
can't
one
go
thing at a
from
time.
one
Right.
side of the building to the other to reset that alarm either. So the alarm's going off on this side of the building. You can't get to this side to reset the panel. You gotta go out, unlock the other door. It's a pain in the neck.
Okay,
But anyway, go ahead.
let's do one thing at a time.
I-
First of all, let's start with where the conversation started regarding the devices.
Okay.
If we have duct smokes that are going off, then there's an issue. Why are they going off? Because it's not a manufacturing facility.
And it seems to be the same
Right, and they were supposed to have
detectors
come
all
out
the time.
and
The same
repaired that.
Mhm, same,
And
yep.
then we got another alarm.
Yep.
We put it into test mode or whatever.
And then when I
again.
called you, they took them offline.
But this is the second time now.
And now it's gone off again, and the last time I came for a response, it was like, wait a minute, I thought we had those offline.
Right. Well, no, we had it. You called me.
Yep,
It went offline. They were coming Monday to repair it.
yep,
The following week, after they repaired it, it
it went off again.
I spoke to them again, saying, well, you're supposed to have been out there last Monday to repair this. They said, we're gonna put it into test mode
Yep.
again and come out Monday of this week. So I don't know,
You know
What
where we are
happened
right
here?
now.
but until they had corrected it, it was gonna be in test mode so that we wouldn't get into, just that zone.
right, right.
So, I think that's gonna play itself out.
So I think the follow-up to that piece of it is, somewhere in that process of that most recent alarm activation, Mark Hopkins has had a conversation with them. And that's where this, can we swap them out to be heat detectors came up.
But we don't know that that's what the problem is.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's, at least I don't, so when
No, I don't know that
Till
for
we
sure
go
either, but I had
spend a
that
few
conversation
hundred
with Mark. It's-
dollars, I can't.
Right,
Well, and that's why I said, don't do anything till I meet with the selectmen,
Sure.
because we don't wanna put a Band-Aid
right.
on a bruise that
Mhm.
doesn't need a Band-Aid.
Right.
We need to fix the thing
Mhm.
that's causing the bruise underneath. So I agree with that.
Yeah, let's wait and see,
Okay.
like you say, if this, what they've done in the last Monday, what they did last Monday may resolve the issue.
Yeah. You know, Monadnock should be giving us a report of, hey, this is what we did,
Right.
and we think that's gonna resolve it, or,
Well, they've already told us once they corrected it and they didn't. So they come back and correct it again, correct?
I haven't
And I don't know what the,
received a report from them to say, this is what we did. I know they said they would be out, it was one Monday, and then I think it was 2 weeks later again, on a Monday, we'd be back out.
and do you regularly get the reports then when they've been
I
out
haven't
here?
gotten anything.
I haven't, it's
No.
not coming to us.
No. I
Have we seen
think
a bill?
normally what we see is a bill.
Yeah, and have we seen a bill?
We get reports just of the activity.
Yeah, just of the
You know,
activity,
that
yeah.
the
But not a
alarm went
repair
off and-
or-
Yeah.
No, it comes, and that really, that is generated by central alarm, that's all it is, not from Monadnock.
No, right.
Yeah,
Well, I guess the next time we receive a bill, we'll have to take a look at it and see what,
I
Yeah.
think there's a few
Paying
bills
for.
in
Well, and technically now they've been out twice within the last couple weeks. There should be a bill generated somewhere. I'm sure they're not
There
doing
is
it for
a
free.
there. There's a couple bills in there right now.
then the second item regarding the egresses,
I will call Charlie.
I would recommend you send them a letter.
Yeah.
Talk
I will
to them.
call him
Yeah.
and I will follow up with a letter, because
Right, a
that
letter
seems
would
to
be
be what
good.
I usually do with him.
And I would do the same thing regarding the materials.
Correct.
And I know, being a builder, fire departments will ask us, I need to see the certification
Mm-hmm.
on that fabric that it's a Class A, or
Yeah.
at least so
What's
that
the
you'll
burn time,
know
right.
what the smoke developed, et cetera, is.
Right, burn time, yeah. And if he's not willing to, well, we won't go there yet, I guess.
Let's see what happens.
Well, I would say, yeah, it is gonna be something he'll need to do.
Yeah.
And then, at least then, if he gives us the letter that says, these are the fabrics we have, and that's all we have in there for sort of materials, and you get an alarm system, you go in there, and there are 55-gallon drums. you
Yeah,
back
there's
out
machines
again.
in there and there's all kinds of stuff in there, so it's
Yeah.
not just fabric.
But I mean, if it's stored machines, that's one thing, versus if it was a manufacturing facility with, you know,
No,
drums
yeah,
with their chemicals,
right.
I'd be very concerned.
All right, I will call him and then draft a follow-up letter. All right,
And so that would address those three issues.
and then what is the deal with, I mean, originally the decision was made, nobody goes in that building. Well, obviously they go in the building all the time. And my guys are going in the building, or I'm going in the building, or the cops or police are going in the building. And we originally had that posted that nobody was allowed in that building. Because we weren't even allowed in there to get some of our stuff at that point from the fire department. Then eventually we were allowed to go in on a limited basis to pick those up. But whatever happened with that building being posted that nobody was gonna be allowed in
I have
it?
no idea. Neither one of us were.
Yeah.
No, I know, neither one of you were selectmen at that
I
point.
know
It was years ago, so it would have been,
when Warwick Mills went to the board for the lease was structured that they know that there's mold in the building, they were taking it as is, et cetera.
They were to take precautionary measures, I believe, when they loaded the building. It was suggested that they do something about being exposed to the,
Yeah, and I thought, you know, as long as a landlord, they've been told of the problem and they've wanted it,
Mm-hmm.
right.
that's up to them. But now you raise a good point, and it,
I don't know what the lease says because I didn't see it, but, and I
I
think
haven't read it either.
from my side of it, for the firefighters, the best thing for us to do is we'll design an SOG for that building that says an alarm activation, you will enter the building with full PP and SCBA.
Yeah.
That's not hard to do, but it's just kind of, I don't want to write an SOG that goes against a decision that was made by the town that nobody's allowed in it, because it didn't say nobody's allowed in the building unless they have protection, it said nobody's allowed in the building. So now all of a sudden we're letting people in, and I just want to make sure all our bases are covered. Well, you know, something happens, well, years ago it was posted you're not allowed in that building, and why were you in there to start with? Well, the alarm went off. Well, you shouldn't have been in there.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and surmise that that was issued so that it wasn't being occupied. Or that people weren't going in there to get stuff out, they just wanted to say, leave the building as it is, and as I think you just mentioned, there must have been some leeway to get belongings or something out of there.
Yeah, and then nobody was supposed to be in there at all, so, I mean, so I don't know, it's just, I want to write an SOG, but I don't want an SOG that contradicts something that years ago was said by the town that we're not supposed to be in there anyway.
I think when it comes to a safety issue or a concern that you have, then I'd write it.
But it is an SOG.
Standard operating guideline that would give, doesn't say you can't, it's a guideline that you better be ready to defend if you don't choose to follow it. As far as a procedure, you have no leeway to make a judgment outside of the procedure, is my understanding. Guideline is this would be a strongly recommended, kind of like a standard, but. All right, I will take care of all those then. And then hopefully,
And we'll get you a key.
She
Gee,
has
thanks.
the key, she has the key.
Not, oh, yes, that's
That's
right.
in the Knox
I have the
box.
Knox
Unless
box
she
too.
chooses
Yeah, right,
to
you're good.
carry it personally, but-
there's 2 separate keys, because it's 2 separate locks. And then there's the doors in the back. Because
They
I
have the
met,
same key?
I don't know, because I met Mark in the middle of the building. I'm like, how'd you get in here? He said, oh, I came in through the back. I didn't even know those doors had keys on them.
So, we'll be seeing you shortly on, dry hydrants.
Yes, the map is up at the office, and we've posted all of them. Most everyone was on there.
This is your office or our office?
My office, our office. And then we've got stickers that show ones where we think good potential sites might be. And then the biggest discussion is gonna be how we maintain them, how we install them. I did get a quote from Keith Dupree and Jaffrey, just a rough idea of what does it cost to put one in based on the standard, engineering wise and everything, and it's $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a piece, so just to install them, because they gotta meet the standard. So that was his rough basic guideline. I said, I don't need anything
That's a fire
specific.
pond?
No, that's just a dry hydrant. With all the
Right.
underground
In
pumping.
other words, it's
Yeah.
just a fire.
Yeah.
Before you said a fire pond, not a, I was gonna say it's awfully cheap for a cistern.
No, that's just the
Yeah,
hydrant,
yeah.
just the hydrant and the piping.
Yeah.
And then we just would need to determine how we're gonna move forward with maintaining them, who's gonna maintain them, whose budget that's coming out of, and
Fire department, what do you think?
I would say,
Yeah,
wouldn't come out of the pool.
yeah.
most towns it comes out of the,
Oh, what, highway?
yeah.
Why would it?
No.
Why would it? It had nothing to do with the highway department.
That's what most of them, either water department or highway department takes
We
care of
can do
them.
it in the water department.
Right?
Cover it. While you're here,
Right now, we have 6 of them out of service, so I'm telling you right now, my love of dry hydrants is going downhill
like why
fast.
would the one at,
The one at-
Country Road be out? With that one, brand new.
You can't
I
tell.
think brand new.
You can't tell because you'd have to dive it to find out what's wrong with it. So either there's a
Can
screen,
you pump into it?
we can back flush it,
Yeah.
but it won't it won't hold a draft. So there's something wrong with it. Either there's a cracked pipe, there's a,
Won't you see
Screen.
bubbles coming out of the water balloon pond?
How about the one at the cemetery, is that one
No,
still good?
seriously, what am I missing here? When they built the bridge, they put the pipe into the pond,
Right,
so if you connect to it,
that one doesn't work? Don't
Nope.
know.
yeah,
nope.
that's one that shocked me, that,
We
I say
used
it's
it-
brand new, but
We used it for training. We did a training to see if we could pull 1,000, because you said, can you sustain 1,000 gallons of water a minute? Yes, we can. So we ran the training to do that, and that was,
I asked that.
yes, you did, at a selectmen's meeting.
Where did 1,000 gallons come from? Because I have no clue. Did you say you needed 1,000?
No,
gallons?
I said under the standard, it has to be able to sustain 1,000 gallons a
Oh,
minute, and you
okay.
said, can your department sustain that? I said, yeah, as a matter of fact, we can, we just did it. That's when we found out that it wouldn't draft, so they had to actually put a line into the pond in order to, get it to get water from there.
How old is
And that's a
that bridge?
terrible location anyway.
How old, isn't it?
That bridge,
5 years?
oh no, that bridge is probably 12 years old.
I was gonna say, it's more than
Oh,
10
wait
years.
a minute. No, it's not. No. They were doing the bridge last time I was in office, and that was 05 to 08. And
Okay,
We
so
were-
5 is 12
no, it
years
was
ago.
probably 08.
And the ultimate,
07.
Oh.
that's not the best location for a dry hydrant, but we can have that discussion later.
Isn't it? Is it right at the entrance to Old Country Road on the right?
No, you have to go in on, you have to actually go in on the bridge, so it
Over the
blocks,
bridge?
actually blocks the road.
Yeah, it is.
And you can't get, like, if you had a significant water source set up there and you had to get tankers in and out of there,
Could.
you can't. You'd have to be pulling them in and backing them out. It's a terrible location for a
So
dry
it's
hydrant.
on the other side of the bridge?
No, it's on this
No,
side
it's
of
on
the
this side of the bridge.
right-hand side.
But the
It's-
road's not wide enough to get trucks in and out of there or turn around or
Turn
whatever.
around. Would someone's pulling out
The
something.
ultimate place to put a dry hydrant over there would be right on the causeway.
Right, and you could still have traffic.
Right by,
Oh.
right this side of the
Yeah.
boat landing. That would be the ultimate
We have-
place.
We have them there.
There's no dry hydrant there.
On the
Yeah.
causeway?
They're twin 12-inch culverts.
Yeah. No, that's further down. That's oh no, I know where you were, I know where you were. Yeah, Yeah, throw holes in.
Or 18-inch culverts, whatever.
How's
they
the
are.
exhaust system working down there?
Good,
Good.
yeah.
Well, that's where I was gonna go with my next question.
Great
Where?
minds think alike.
Might as well.
Right,
What? You're getting,
The question got posed last
2 weeks ago?
2
Yeah.
weeks ago. Why do we still have the trailers there if we've got the exhaust system in the building that now handles the issue of being able to use the second floor for the meeting space that we weren't able to do before?
because we don't have room now.
What's the difference between,
We didn't have room before either, but, so what we have done,
This is, I'm gonna interrupt you, because this is the typical scenario.
oh,
The larger the closet, the more clothes you have. So if you give somebody 10 square feet, that's all they're gonna have for clothes. You give them 100 square feet, and they're gonna buy more clothes.
I agree with you 100%.
so, now backing up. In the old exhaust system thing and everything, part of the issue that we had was that our gear was being stored along where the trucks start up and the exhaust was damaging our gear. So what we have done is we took the kitchen and we have turned that into a whole gear room. And eventually what we'll do is we'll replace that kitchen sink so that all we do in there is no kitchen stuff, but only gear washing, only mask washing and packs and things like that. So that is strictly a clean environment for only gear, and we're not washing dishes in there or eating anything. There's a big sign that says you can't do that. So that whole kitchen is now gone.
Doesn't that just mean putting in 2 sinks?
Yeah, so we've got to replace that and then eventually move we need a washer or dryer or whatever we're gonna get for gear, because people can't keep washing and shouldn't be washing their gear at home. So we have a washing machine right now. This is a long story.
Yeah, well, we're not gonna be
No, I
here for
know.
a long story.
So the longer part of it is then upstairs, which used to be the meeting room, is not big enough really to hold a meeting, to hold training. But we're turning that into a smaller, almost like not an efficiency, but like put a coffee maker and a little sink up there and stuff like that, so that we'd have a place for,
How big is that upstairs?
the meeting room is it's maybe a little more than half the size of this room. The meeting room is. Then the other part of it used to be the office. And that is now we never had any place to store our equipment, so like, everybody has a spare set of gear. Their old gear gets downgraded to their training gear. All of that is stored there so that they're not using their new gear for training. That's all stored up there. Our extra batteries, our extra air masks, our extra radio stuff, all of that's now stored up there. Because we never used to have a place to
I just
store it.
found about 4,000 square feet for a meeting room. You start them big red apparati up, and you drive them out them holes in the wall, turn the exhaust system on, set up some folding chairs, you got all the space you need.
See all these nice new tables and chairs? We don't have any of that.
You have a nice new exhaust system though,
Yes, we do, and we appreciate it.
which was a lot more than these chairs and tables.
We appreciate it. But it
So
wasn't,
anyway,
No, but that was the question they got asked, and I started thinking myself is, well, yeah, why do we have them?
There will probably be more conversation to that end.
and I don't think that they really cost us that much.
Did you see your list of repairs you wanted?
Oh, yeah, but most of those were not on those buildings. Most of those were on the fire station.
Oh, I think quite a few of them were on that.
Yeah.
Oh, the little painting the trim
I
and
don't know.
You can't paint the trim because it needs to be replaced, that's part of the issue.
Yeah, new windows, something about a
We
new
put
roof.
a roof on it, we put a furnace in.
no, those weren't
we
on
put door frames.
those are the main firehouse. The roof and all that stuff, the sinking sand, that's all the main
I put
firehouse.
the roof on them, both them modules. Well,
Yeah,
for the
they don't
top.
need a new roof yet.
No, what I'm saying is, we've already done that, and there's more stuff coming down the pipe, so for these 3 buildings that we should have hauled up to the landfill in pieces, are now just costing us more money, but anyway.
Do you wanna talk about the drains?
Yeah, you know you can't have drains in there.
Yeah, that's why they've never been fixed, repaired, anything done with them. Yeah, we know, because this,
Why aren't
because we don't ever have, that was one of my questions that was one of the questions to Mark, was the drains have never been properly installed, so we really shouldn't have them, so we should be doing something with those.
Yeah, he'll have to, pull the grates and fill
To
them, pour
they
them
kept? No,
full.
you need to get a plumbing cap, don't fill them with concrete.
Why wouldn't you fill them? That's what they did down the highway.
But then the longer picture of that is also gonna be when you fill those in, then where's all the water gonna go?
Out the
Get out
doors.
Front door, yeah.
Exactly,
Out the front doors, but there's no drainage, and if you look at the back part of the building,
goes right out the front.
and then it rolls right back in the
Well,
building.
I believe you can have.
We flood every single time it rains, because there's no drainage on that driveway, so when the water goes out, the water just comes right back in again. Oh, yeah, and the back of the building is sinking because of the drainage back there.
Is that because of those little additions that the fire department put on?
Probably, yeah. I think it just needs drainage done around the edges, and it should take care of it so the water will drain away, but right now, it's probably this far down from the main part of the building.
What is?
The back part of the building. Because of the weight of the trucks is what's happening, and the weight of the trucks is weighing that down, and then because the drainage.
Within the addition.
Within the additions, yeah.
You can have floor drains, I believe.
Well, you can.
But you have to have
never
holding
see
tank.
that.
Right.
And that was the
See,
issue,
They have to be pumped on a regular basis.
and wasn't that the issue a long time ago? This would have been with Rick Hewitt probably, was they didn't want to put in the holding tanks, so that nothing was then ever done.
Well, having pumped septic in the past, you'd have a real hard time getting rid of that water,
You
trust me.
can't, you gotta
Right.
bring in.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
clean
That's
harbors.
hazardous
Yeah.
waste, yeah, yeah.
And you can have pure clean water in there, but you're paying to get rid of
Right.
hazardous.
Yep,
Right, so,
yeah, so I think that whole thing is a whole bigger picture than,
yeah, they gotta, whether we fill them with cement or cap them the way David's talking, they have to be eliminated. Can you mention that to the building guy, please? Look into it, right?
And I would guess that's not
He should
cheap.
look into it.
Should've.
Yeah.
And then we need to do
What do you mean it's
something
not
with,
cheap? Is that what you said?
I thought, nothing's cheap. And then we gotta do
It's not
something
the
with,
Fire department budget anyway,
Yeah,
so.
so it doesn't matter.
it's not in my budget, it's in the building budget.
What else?
And then we'll have to do something with the grates, because the grates are all rotten. The grates to the drains.
Grates will be gone.
There we go.
I know, we'll have to, but you'll have to put something there.
Cement.
And that's
Yeah.
fine.
Former cement. But,
We're like all on the same page, that's really amazing.
we just happen to get there.
A different
Just
route.
different routes, I know. Well, this is all stuff that I don't know that anybody, at least I didn't know whose responsibility it was. And it was like, whose responsibility is, do I put this in my budget? No, it's the maintenance. All right, well, I gotta let them know what we need. So then Mark came down and I gave him a whole list. I didn't assume we would get it all done this year, but these are the concerns of the buildings that we have down there.
But
And
these
my
are
guess
my
is,
concerns at this point, and
and we
as
will
long as
not
I'm
be
sitting
out
here
of this.
in the future, I will watch this, is that I can remember them coming in as, oh no, the fire department's gonna take care of building these additions off the back, we'll get the material, don't worry about it. And it's all well and fine until, well, now, this is sinking, or this needs
Yeah.
to be repaired. So those are the types of things that I kind of look back at, and I say, well, next time we gotta just kind of watch that a
Yeah.
little bit.
And
Yeah,
unfortunately, I
You
It
love
was
that.
I
all
wasn't the
great
chief and
intention.
you were the
Right,
selectman,
yeah.
and it was,
You
it was,
love
we
to-
needed more space, and that was
Yeah.
the only way we were gonna get it, and,
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't see in my lifetime us having a new fire station, so we gotta do something.
Well, be a little more optimistic.
Hmm.
All right, it won't be in my term as chief, let's just put it that way, because that'll be shorter than my lifetime. Although I'm
How
now
many years
in
you-
for
how-
however
Well,
many years,
equal there too.
100 years?
How long you plan on hanging around?
Was it 100 years that they voted I could stay for 100
No,
years?
it was
99 years,
changed.
wasn't it?
No, it was
Something like
changed. It was 100 initially, but it was changed. It
Oh.
wasn't, yeah. I think it's back to, I thought it was 1 year or 3-year terms?
No, that didn't go through.
that. It's appointed.
It's appointed
Oh,
for
that's right.
life
No,
now,
I
appointed
don't-
forever,
I
100
don't-
years or whatever.
I don't believe it was. Appointed for life?
Yep,
No.
100
Why-
years.
Why would somebody do that? I don't.
They tried to change it to 3 years and it didn't pass.
Are you sure?
Mhm. Yeah, you're stuck with me.
Oh. For 100 years? Wow, that's a long
All right.
time.
Do
Yeah.
we have any more?
Hi, any more fun that we can have tonight?
I don't have anything, I don't believe.
And then it seemed like there was one other thing on the 5th, right? Dry hydrants, it's something else? Is it just dry
I think
hydrants?
it's just the hydrants.
It's not the 5th yet anyway.
I was trying to ask you before, the hydrant down on Tricknick, that works?
No. The hydrant down on Tricknick does not work because it's got that holding, that cement holding tank, box, whatever it is. And it's full of sand, muck, stuff, so you can't draft out of it because there's so much muck that you can't get enough water out of it. Really what needs to happen with that one is
Wait
it
a minute,
needs to
what-
be,
Explain to me what's down there?
there's a, if you look over that bridge, there's a,
The old
like
pump,
a,
the old pump house?
yeah, there's
The
a
basement.
cement,
That's where the dry hydrant goes, into that.
yeah, and it's like a cement,
It's a foundation.
yeah.
That the
So
brook passes
there's
through.
no place for the sand and stuff that feeds into that
Correct.
to ever go out of, so it's just slowly filling that up.
Can't get out on the back side of it. The river flows into it,
Yep,
and the silt drops off, and then the water goes over the top of
Yep.
the foundation, so it just keeps filling.
and the
with
silt
sand.
is just, and the sand is slowly filling up
Yeah.
that,
It's been,
and now,
So
unless
why
we have a
at
significant
low water
amount-
level, we haven't dug that out?
it's a very good question. It'd have to be dredged, I would guess.
because we have never put in our plan, budget, this is one of the things I think we have to talk about on the 12th, is we've never had any plan like that on whose responsibility that is and what budget and who's gonna do it and all that. It's never been defined, it needs to be.
I think we need to know that there's a problem that needs to be fixed.
Right.
That's why I'm
And
here.
Yeah.
remedy of action.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's what we have to determine with all of these dry hydrants is, what's our plan going forward?
Why does the dry hydrant go into that concrete vault?
That I
couldn't answer
don't
that
know.
either. But I think that was even when the pump house was there, that's where the dry hydrant,
That wasn't put in when they rebuilt the bridge?
It might have
thought
been,
it was.
I think
Now
it
that you
was.
mention it- Oh, now you mention it, I think.
I
And
think it
remember
was.
the generator was there, and
Yep.
then somebody wanted it, and
Yep,
took it
I
out.
agree, I think it was.
The deal was tear down the building, you could have the generator, so somebody jumped on that.
Yep. I mean, all of these have had no long-term maintenance plan in place, and we need to come up with something, is
The
what
one
we
at the
need to do.
cemetery still work?
I think so.
I hope so. It's
We
only-
did, that one didn't come up on the list, we just retested them all, and that one didn't come up as not being working, so that one's
It's
working.
gotta be, pretty close to 10 years old.
And then there's, like, the one at, Old Beaver, that's a pond, for lack of a better, quasi-cistern set up there on Old
is
Beaver.
that in the development?
That's in the development, and that doesn't hold water, so
Where
it
is
has a
that
dry
one?
hydrant attached to it, but it doesn't hold any water, so.
Where's that dry hydrant? Right at the beginning of the road?
Right as you come in off of
Right. on the
Ashby
right-hand
Road,
side?
it's on the,
Be on the right. It's on the left?
The right,
trying to think as I make the circle, it's on the right-hand side.
yeah, but where you should have it is further up Ashby Road, where the river and pond is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't there
Yeah, there is. There's a
Waterway.
water crossing,
Yeah.
absolutely. There's a
Yep.
pond there with, yeah.
So-
you can just drop a hose over and,
You could if you had to, but that's in Ashby, actually.
is it?
Yes,
Right
and
there.
then
the
this
ed-
one up here on,
Sharon
the
Flats?
Sharon Flats is not, rumor has it, it's not even being maintained anymore, and I said, well, that would be good to know, cause we rely on that, but that's
who would
Peterborough's.
maintain it? Oh. Can you check with them? So then
I did, I checked with the chief, he hasn't gotten
Peterborough
back to me.
maintains the one in,
No, Peterborough,
oh, for Sharon.
for, my understanding is that's a subdivision connection as well, and that, and I'm gonna go out on a limb, but I heard that it was Ken Lettman that was maintaining that, and he's not gonna maintain it anymore. So I said, well, that would, because I think he's the one that's developing, isn't he developing that property right there?
You're talking the Sharon Flats, not
Mhm.
120.
The split that goes to Peterborough.
You're on
Okay,
the
I'm
Peterborough
on,
side.
that's not the Sharon Flats.
He's on the Sharon
Yeah,
Flat. Yeah,
yeah,
you're
I'm
on the
Sharon
Peterborough side.
Flats.
He's on the Jaffrey side.
Yeah,
There, I don't believe there is a hydrant on.
I didn't think so.
There isn't a hydrant on the, going to
Sharon.
Jaffrey.
Okay,
There's a decent water source there on the left-hand side, right where the kayak
so what do
thing
you
is.
do, just drop the hose in?
That's what we
and-
just, so, and that's part of the discussion that I keep kinda going back and forth. Do we wanna just put in some really, identify some decent, like 3 or 4 decent dry hydrants that we regularly maintain instead of a bunch of little ones that may not have water in them, depending on what kind of year we have as far as drought.
Oh, good thinking.
And then we just beef up our tanker response from other towns to cover that travel distance.
Yeah.
We put one on one on the
Centrally
causeway,
located, yeah.
and you put one, a couple other places, Hutter's is a good one, and you maintain those on a regular basis. And then you make your judgment on how much water, in order to sustain 1,000 gallons a minute, how many tankers you'd have to get on the road in a turnover. Maybe that's what we wanna do instead of,
Bless me.
can you put one on Matthew Way, because Matthew Way's not working either. Can you
So
put one
one
on
at-
Matthew Way, can you put one in Smithville, can you put one here? Maybe we don't want that many, maybe we
Where's the one
want
on
decent
Matthew
ones.
Way?
Matthew Way on the other side over by,
I know where you're at.
The back end? Down near the old?
the other
sawmill?
side, yeah, no,
Across from the condos, right?
yes. Right at the end of up by the
Right.
condos.
Green
I wanna
Farm,
say off
it's
Green
on
Farm.
Matthew Way,
I was gonna say Stoll Road, but it's not
Yeah.
Stoll, it's Green Farm.
Yeah. Green Farm Road.
Yeah.
There's
But
one
the
in
Matthew
there.
Way comes,
It goes into the left. If you come off a Stoll onto Green Farm and then take a left onto
Right.
Matthew Way,
yeah,
that dry hydrant's across the street.
Yeah, it
correct?
sits down over there.
on Green Farm.
On
Well,
Matthew
we say
Way.
it's Matthew Way, but
When you turn left onto Matthew Way.
Correct. I believe it's right there on that corner. I believe she'd have to pump from
Where's
Matthew
the
Way.
water?
I don't know. That's a good
There's
question.
no water over there.
there's water there,
I mean, like from a brook crossing.
yeah. but it isn't always there.
I'm trying to picture a pond.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
no,
like,
no,
there's
no,
no-
no,
water
it's
there.
a
Okay.
running,
Okay, yeah.
So
It's
you
a
might be
running
better off in that instance, having one down at the flood control dam.
yep.
And then you could go Stoll Road, Green Farm Road, Temple Road.
So that's what I
Bingo
think
road,
our
yeah.
ultimate goal should be
Flood
in doing
control
this.
Off of Temple Road,
Off Temple.
yeah, put a dry hydrant,
That'd be a great place to put one,
yeah,
Well, why would
because
you-
we always have water down in there,
right.
Yeah,
past
but
the nunnery.
You have no wax?
right? Past the nunnery?
No, prior to the nunnery,
As
way,
soon as
way
you turn
back,
onto Temple Road,
right,
but you have no access.
Temple
there.
Road
We'd be better off to put one down in the,
by the nunnery, I see where
yeah,
you're at,
past
too,
the nunnery,
skinny,
where,
skinny
where
cat.
there always floods
But-
the road.
See, the thing is, though, then you're so
But
far
that-
away from
I've
everything,
seen that go dry.
right,
That goes dry.
and to me, you'd be too far away from,
Everything goes
Yeah.
dry.
Well, I've
Yeah, but
never
that
seen
flood
the
control dam, I've
flood
never-
controls go.
I've never seen that,
No, you're right, you're right.
never
But
seen
you
that.
have no, how would they access it?
You'd have to get permission to access it, it's, you'd probably have to put a bigger parking lot in there, you know, fishermen would appreciate it, they have somewhere to park. You'd, you know, you'd have to do, it'd take some creative thinking to get it done, but.
So if I get that map up here, would it be to our benefit before the meeting on the 12th? For me to get that map up here that we have put with all of our things marked, for you guys to have kind of some visual on, and then I would rather see us condense down and have solidly good water sources, as opposed to one that might work here and one that might work on Tuesdays and one that only works in January, and I would rather have solid ones that we regularly
Four-
maintain.
yeah.
But
Four
to me,
go-tos.
those two, I would have said, those are solid, and you're telling me they don't, neither one works?
Which one?
The one at
Waterloon
Old
Pond.
Country, yeah, Waterloon and,
Yeah, and
Uh,
Waterloon
Trinidad.
is just a bad location as well, in the fact that it's not working and it's a bad location.
but again, I'm
But-
thinking as a water source.
Right, you couldn't
Yeah.
get a better
You
water source.
couldn't get better water
You're
source,
not
yeah.
gonna
And
run
I
out of
think
water.
and it may be a DES issue that we have a conversation with them and putting it on the causeway. Because
They're all
of the
DES
wetlands.
Yeah, but
Well,
when we did, back when I was cemetery trustee, when we redid the pond at the cemetery, and Ed Rogers went to DES and said, listen, we wanna do this, cause we wanna put in a dry hydrant, they were like, here you go, go
And I think
for it."
most of the times
Just
when you
kept-
say that's what it's for,
Right,
they're
just
okay
kept,
with it.
they gave him no issues with signing permits, cause we said we wanna turn it into a fire pond, and they were happy with that.
So if in fact the one on Old County is defective, we'd be better advanced to move it to the causeway and have we will never run out of water on the causeway. And the access
They're
is
both the
good.
same water supply.
No, I know, but the access is good
Yeah,
and everything. So if we had to fix it, we'd be better off to think about moving it.
I'm thinking you would close down the causeway in order to
You
access.
shouldn't have to though.
You wouldn't have to.
No, I think.
You could do a circular route for trucks
Yeah, leave
to,
a lane of traffic
Yeah.
open for
Yep.
general
Yep.
traffic and.
You think?
Yep.
Yeah, I think you could snug a truck off to one side and fill it,
we do it all the time when we,
yeah, right.
most of the time if we need to fill after a fire for any, whatever reason, that's where we go. We try and stay away from Cemetery Pond one just because it's kinda noisy.
Yeah, no, I understand, it's
Oh.
there, you know, I would keep it working though, cause.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
right
yeah.
in the center of
Yeah.
town. That's one of those that you would repair, I would hope, but.
Yeah, so if you could keep that one, and if we could do something with the Tricknick one, so that we don't have that issue, or we
I don't know,
regularly
sounds
dredge it,
like-
or whatever we do.
Cut the pipe where it goes into the vault and
And again, that's a
Yeah.
viable water
Bring it
source.
out.
Yeah, you're right,
Yep,
yeah.
and that's a great water source when, except for the issue that we have now.
I've never seen Furnace Brook. Well, actually,
I lived on Furnace Brook for 20 years and never ran dry. It got small and narrow and shallow,
Yeah.
but
I think this year, or was it last year?
Would've been
did
2 years
go
ago.
Dry
We
never
didn't,
dried up,
at Jenny's, but I never see it go dry at the park.
no. It's because that's a swamp with a pool. It's-
yeah, it is,
It
it's
is,
right
it's a
into the
swamp.
pool.
It's a swamp, yeah. It's-
So, do you want me to bring that map up here and maybe put it in Joanne's office on the wall, so you guys, if you happen to drop in, can at least look at
Yeah,
where
Yeah.
they're marked and,
yep, I'd appreciate
so
that.
that
But
then,
I'd like you to somehow identify areas there you're saying these would be where we
Right.
should.
oh, we already have, and the reason it's posted at the station at the office right now is to get other people's feedback down there too, in case we missed something.
Yeah,
So we've identified all of the ones that we currently have. We have marked the ones that we currently have that are out of service. And we have identified with a different color sticky,
nice.
where we have viable water sources that might be ones we should take a look at.
In what format is this map?
Whatever you got for us from the map man.
Guy from Southwest.
What did he give you?
It's
A
a paper.
PDF?
No, it's a paper
It's
map.
a hard
It's-
copy.
It's a
Like
hard
this?
copy up
He
in the
didn't
wall.
give you electronically?
Mm-mm.
Can you ask him to send that over electronically, please?
That's why we're doing stickies
Yeah,
instead of,
I'm not a sticky guy.
yeah.
Yeah, let me give you my email.
Well, I wanted everybody to have access to it, which is why, and I didn't want, I said, and the big sign on it says, do not write on the map.
That's why I'm saying if you have it electronically, and it's in a PDF, you can just write right on it. and-
Yeah. But then people can't stand there and look at it. That's kind of what I wanted. Not on a, like on
I
a,
understand why you did it your way. It would
on a
make
Monday
perfect
night,
sense,
somebody
right.
go in and go, oh, yeah, you know what, this would be a really good
Yeah,
place.
no, it's a good
If
idea.
you have that map
Yeah,
in an electronic format, PDF, you put your comments on it in the PDF. This is where we wanna do it. Now, let me get my lieutenants and whatnot comment. You print that out, put it on the wall, and they look at it and they say, well, let's move this one over. And at least then, you know, you can go back in and modify it
how do you print it out?
on a plotter. Those are the minor details.
We can do it both ways. But
I'm
I'm glad we're having the conversation,
I'm a hard
because
copy
I'm
guy.
getting extremely concerned about our water sources. So I think it's
Well, we
good.
have water sources, it's just. a
We
matter
do,
of
we just
tapping.
have to tap them.
Yeah.
And we're ready to tap them by dropping a line in them.
Right,
Yeah.
so we just need to designate specific spots.
Yep. All right. Yep, cool. I will bring that up
Thank you.
and post that in Joanne's
Thank
office.
you.
Motion?
To adjourn? I'll make a motion to adjourn.